Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a massive, highly technical ecosystem built by a developer known as RickCreator87. It's called GitDigital. We're going to navigate this sprawling web of GitHub repositories, Solana blockchain architecture, and zero-knowledge cryptography to understand exactly how this creator is trying to reshape how we actually own things on the internet.
Okay, let's dive into this. What if you could prove you create digital products without revealing your personal information? That fascinating question right there is actually the title of one of RickCreator87's YouTube videos, and it really acts as the perfect North Star for our entire explainer today. Just imagine building a digital empire, minting code and selling products, all while remaining completely anonymous, yet somehow undeniably proving that you are the author. It's wild to think about.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, the zero-knowledge vision. Second, provable digital ownership. Third, the Solana infrastructure hub. And fourth, community and governance. Let's get right to it. Section 1. The zero-knowledge vision. So you're going to see the term ZK plastered all over RickCreator87's GitHub and Patreon pages. A zero-knowledge, or ZK proof, is basically a cryptographic method. It allows you to prove you know a value or possess a digital asset without conveying any additional information apart from the simple fact that you know it. Think of it kind of like a cryptographic bouncer, right? You prove you're old enough to enter the club without actually having to show your ID card, your home address, or your real name.
What can a few hundred lines of code reveal? This quote from a YouTube title brilliantly illustrates the creator's whole mindset. In the traditional tech world, a few hundred lines of code might reveal your IP address, your server location, or your actual legal identity. But in a zero-knowledge ecosystem, those lines of code are deployed strictly to protect that information while still allowing you to function, create, and transact freely.
Section 2. Provable digital ownership.
Now here's where the rubber really meets the road, how we actually buy and sell things. On one hand, we have traditional web frameworks, which require these data-heavy, identity-exposing checkouts. You know the drill. But on the other hand, we have what RickCreator87 calls a digital hybrid checkout, a concept featured prominently on their YouTube channel. This GitDigital model aims to facilitate transactions where your financial and digital ownership is completely verified, but your personal data remains locked safely behind that ZK cryptography.
And get this, we aren't just talking about buying digital art. A recent locked GitDigital Patreon post specifically mentions RWA, which stands for real-world assets, and AML, anti-money laundering. By building a ZK, Solana, KYC compliance SDK, this ecosystem is designed to solve complex legal and regulatory compliance directly at the token level. It's literally building the rule of law straight into the code itself.
Section 3. The Solana infrastructure hub. 10. That is the sheer number of custom GitHub OAuth applications actively built and documented for this specific ecosystem, which, by the way, is backed by Google Cloud infrastructure. It's an absolutely massive undertaking for one organization focusing on provable ownership.
Now, what's really interesting about this setup is how the tools are organized. Under compliance and identity, tools like the Solana Identity Registry and GDS Compliance Guard manage exactly who you are and the rules you follow on-chain. Once that identity is securely sorted out, the heavy-duty developer ops kick in. Tools like the Solana Program Auditor, the Transaction Simulator, and the Gas Optimizer ensure that before anything ever goes live, the smart contracts are secure, heavily tested, and optimized for the lowest network fees possible. So you might be wondering, how does a developer actually move through this? Well, if we look at the source repositories, there's a really clear sequential pipeline in place. Step 1, the user triggers the Solana Developer Onboarding Bot. Step 2, the Solana Workflow Orchestrator steps in to seamlessly sequence all the necessary APIs and zero-knowledge proofs. And finally, Step 3, the Solana Release Manager finalizes the deployment onto the network. It's a highly complex, totally automated assembly line for decentralized applications.
Section 4. Community and Governance.
The touchpoints for this community are incredibly vast, to say the least. There's this sprawling blogspot hub that basically acts as the main directory, seamlessly linking out to a dedicated Telegram for real-time chat and ecosystem dashboards hosted via Minimax. But what's particularly fascinating to me are the GitHub governance modules. RickCreator87 has already mapped out repositories for grant schemas, a funding impact tracker, and a governance transparency dashboard. The architectural blueprint for a fully transparent, decentralized community is completely laid out for us to see.
Of course, Keeping a massive Google Cloud and Solana-backed project like this running requires capital, right? The creator has set up diverse funding infrastructure to keep the lights on. You can unlock exclusive GitDigital ZK posts via Patreon memberships starting at just $6 a month. There are direct contribution avenues via Cash App, PayPal, and they even utilize fine-grained GitHub PAT tokens, personal access tokens, which securely manage access control for developers actually working on the code.
So, if you're looking to map this territory yourself, the GitDigital ecosystem blogspot is essentially the master index. I highly recommend diving straight into the docs architecture page to truly grasp the sheer scale of the blueprint we've analyzed today.
Which brings us right back to the beginning. We've looked at zero-knowledge proofs, Solana, compliance guardrails, and sprawling developer workflows. But the real question I want to leave you with is this. How will provable digital ownership change your own relationship with the internet when your identity is protected by cryptography, but your creations are undeniably yours? What will you build? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.